Imagine a big economic problem like a huge storm getting closer and closer to US. Elon Musk says this storm reminds him of a big problem we had in 2007 when the housing market crashed. This storm is an upcoming economic decline. He also thinks this upcoming global economic decline could last for another year and a half. So should we be worried about this new problem? Well, don't worry too much because we're here to help you understand what's going on and how you can handle it. Play video of Musk talking about upcoming recession. Well, I think it does seem like we're headed into a recession here in 2023. The magnitude of that recession is debatable, but I think it's at least a light to moderate recession. Potentially, it's on the order of 2009. So I think it's wise to kind of prepare for the worst, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Don't get too adventurous, like watch out for margin debt. I really advise people to not have margin debt in a volatile stock market, and from a cash standpoint, keep your powder dry. So what really happened in 2007, the year Elon Musk mentioned? The 2007 to 2009 economic crisis was deep and protracted, enough to become known as the Great Recession, and was followed by what was, by some measures, a long but unusually slow recovery. This global economic downturn devastated world financial markets as well as the banking and real estate industries. The crisis led to increases in home mortgage foreclosures worldwide and caused millions of people to lose their life savings, their jobs, and their homes. It's generally considered to be the longest period of economic decline since the Great Depression of the 1930s. Although its effects were definitely global in nature, the Great Recession was most pronounced in the United States, where it originated as a result of the subprime mortgage crisis, and in Western Europe. The backstory. The 2008 recession in the United States and Western Europe was closely tied to the subprime mortgage crisis. Subprime mortgages are home loans given to individuals with poor credit histories, making these loans high risk. During the housing boom in the early to mid-2000s, mortgage lenders were less cautious about the borrowers they approved for loans, aiming to benefit from increasing home prices. As home prices continued to climb in North America and Western Europe, other financial institutions acquired many of these risky mortgages in large quantities, often as mortgage-backed securities, as an investment, hoping for quick profits. However, these decisions soon had disastrous consequences. While the U.S. housing market remained relatively strong during that period, signs of trouble emerged when subprime mortgage lender New Century Financial declared bankruptcy in April 2007. A couple of months prior, in February, the Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corporation, Freddie Mac, revealed that it would cease buying risky subprime mortgages and mortgage-related securities, as there was no longer a market for the mortgages they possessed, and thus no means to sell them and recover their initial investments. New Century Financial crumbled. Only a few months later, in August 2007, American Home Mortgage Investment Corp. became the second major mortgage lender to succumb to the pressures of the subprime crisis and the declining housing market, leading it to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The sharp increase in housing expenses posed significant challenges for borrowers with strong qualifications, forcing them into financial difficulties. The impact was worsened by adjustable-rate mortgages, ARMs, which made initial loan payments difficult to manage. With home prices reaching unsustainable levels, the housing market experienced a decrease in demand, and individuals with subprime loans were stuck in severe financial troubles. During that summer, both Standard & Poor's and Moody's credit rating services declared their intentions to downgrade the ratings of over 100 bonds supported by second-lien subprime mortgages. Standard & Poor's also put more than 600 securities backed by subprime residential mortgages on credit watch. As the subprime crisis persisted, housing prices started to drop across the nation, primarily due to an excess of new homes on the market. This situation left millions of homeowners, along with their mortgage lenders, in a precarious position as the value of their homes sank below the total amounts of their loans, a phenomenon commonly referred to as being underwater. So as recession took hold and consumer confidence waned, subsequently purchasing power decreased. The recession officially commenced in December 2007, and the poverty rate surged from 12.5% to 15% by 2010. Throughout the course of the Great Recession, the combined wealth of American households and non-profit entities dwindled by over 20%. The value declined from a peak of $69 trillion in the fall of 2007 to $55 trillion in the spring of 2009, amounting to a staggering loss of approximately $14 trillion. The American Recovery and Reinvestment Act was put into effect to infuse funds into the economy, safeguard jobs, and expand safety nets. Nevertheless, poverty rates kept climbing, and the U.S. incurred substantial wealth losses due to stock market plunges. Despite the economic downturn, the affluent managed to accumulate wealth, while the average and underprivileged experience losses. This highlights how recessions disproportionately impact the less fortunate. Building savings and adopting frugal lifestyles is important for preparing for such crises. The widespread economic downturn wasn't confined to the United States. Its impact reverberated across the world. Ukraine, as well as Argentina and Jamaica, were the countries most deeply affected by the crisis. Elon Musk's foresight about upcoming inflation and tough times reminds us to be prepared. He highlighted the value of getting financially ready by suggesting additional income streams, saving wisely, and diversifying investments. It's on us how we do it. Musk mentioned hope as a strategy, but he told us about the importance of cautious planning. He expressed doubt about the Federal Reserve's capability to solely prevent the approaching recession by manipulating interest rates. Elon Musk's analysis highlighted a strong chance of an upcoming recession exceeding 60% likelihood. He warned against relying solely on regular jobs and suggested considering remote work and other income options. Musk wants us to be flexible and ready for future economic changes. What you can do is assess your finances. In uncertain times like a recession, it might not seem like this right now, but knowing where you stand financially is so important. Ask yourself these key questions. How much cash do I have available? Can I access more cash quickly if needed? What's my current debt, credit cards, loans, etc.? What are my essential monthly expenses like food, housing, insurance, etc.? Are big expenses coming up: weddings, baby, retirement? To prepare, aim for 3 to 6 months worth of expenses and savings. Craft a budget by understanding your income sources and listing monthly expenses. Prioritize essentials, and if things change due to a job loss, know your minimum needs. Adjust your budget for a potential recession by cutting non-essential spending and separating wants from needs. Learn from overspending areas and adapt your budget as needed. When you regularly review your finances and solve issues, you're on the right track. Prioritize debt repayment when you can. Secondly, managing your debts is important. If you're worried about paying bills, credit cards, utilities, loans, consider these steps. Pay rent or mortgage first to avoid eviction. Keep up car payments if you need it for work. Contact student debt lender for payment delays. Aim for minimum credit card payment. Discuss a plan with the company. Pay medical bills after essential expenses. Keep health insurance premiums up. Talk to creditors if you're struggling. Look into local banks, online lenders, or employer loans. Ask about lower interest rates if you're on track. Many creditors have assistance programs. Don't hesitate to ask for help. Evaluate your career prospects, present and future. Another thing we know about recession periods is that they often bring high unemployment rates, so it's an important thing to think about how economic challenges could impact your career and have a backup plan for potential layoffs. Well, it would be wise if you do so. Begin by reconnecting with your professional network. This includes coworkers and contacts beyond your current workplace. A diverse network can be advantageous in the job market. Use social media or set up coffee meetings to reconnect. Update your resume and job-seeking tools early on. Check for any gaps in your work experience. Can you pursue further education or training? Expanding skills is an investment in yourself even if you keep your job. For those concerned about layoffs, consider a side gig like freelancing or rideshare work. Extra income can help during a layoff and boost emergency savings while employed. Strengthen your emergency fund in advance. So even if job uncertainties arise, aim to build up your emergency fund. When income is uncertain, this fund becomes helpful. Cut out non-essential spending, like takeout. While dipping into your emergency fund should be considered carefully, job loss or reduced income are valid reasons to use it. Yet focus on replenishing it once stability returns. This prevents tough choices later, such as tapping into retirement savings or seeking credit lines for emergencies. Lastly, stay proactive about your financial situation. Prepare now to navigate these times. Seek financial education. Financial education is important. It boosts your financial confidence, even during challenges. Another thing Musk warns us about is margin debt and preventing market panic. Musk's warning about margin debt originated from past cases where market panic was sparked due to investors' inability to fulfill broker requirements. He emphasized the severe consequences that can arise from widespread margin calls. He said that during the crisis from Peter Thiel, I think in less than 12 months, Broadcom went down 97%. So even if you had a small margin loan there, you got crushed. It subsequently recovered, and I think you know to much higher levels. But if there's mass panic in the stock market, then you've got to be really careful about margin debt. Elon Musk's warning about margin debt triggering mass panic can be expanded upon. From different angles, a key concept emerges. If an investor's balance falls below the broker's required minimum due to a focus on gains and fear of losses, panic ensues, resulting in a margin call. These demands injecting more funds to meet the broker's criteria. On an individual level, this can lead to losses due to shifting market trends. On a larger economic scale, a higher prevalence of margin debts often accompanies a higher chance of recession. This is evident when looking at historical instances like the 2008 Great Recession, where margin debts surged by over 60%. Such cases indicate an approaching economic decline. This underscores why Elon Musk advises against margin debt, as it poses risks for investors and the economy. My best guess is that we'll have sort of stormy times for a year to a year and a half, and then things start to dawn, breaks roughly in Q24, if I were to guess. That's like my best guess. Recessions don't last forever, but neither do booms. Don't last forever, but neither do recessions. Elon Musk emphasizes that recessions follow a cyclical pattern and are not permanent. He suggests that just like past recessions, the upcoming one will be temporary. While acknowledging the difficulties during recessions, Musk implies that the Federal Reserve, Fed, orchestrates such events to reset the economy. He acknowledges that recessions are inevitable and considers a near-term recession quite likely, though not certain the probability is significant. Musk envisions a 12 to 18-month period for economic stabilization after the recession phase. Learning from Elon Musk's insights. Elon Musk's tweet hinted at a phase of negative cash flows that companies might experience before recovering. What can we glean from this? The timeline he suggested implies that a strategic time for investing or launching a business would likely be around late 2024 or mid-2025. Although it seems distant, the wait is expected to be worthwhile. The advice is to pause plans momentarily and save any incoming funds. Now let's see the controversial aspect of Musk's sentiments. He candidly expressed his views on Twitter. He labeled certain powerful groups as misguided and advocated for them to face financial challenges, particularly if they've been benefiting for an extended period. Musk also critiqued the perceived lethargy induced by stay-at-home measures during the COVID-19 period. He regards the recession as a wake-up call, reminding people that life's rewards aren't easily won. His perspective bears merit. When COVID-19 restrictions eased and people resumed activities, the economy witnessed an upswing. It was a realization that staying home had its drawbacks. Elon Musk bolstered his prediction by conducting layoffs at Tesla, his own company, as a proactive measure. He openly acknowledged the difficulty of this action, letting go of valuable employees due to sudden economic shifts. Imagine being an employer forced to make such decisions to secure your company's future. It's undeniably a challenging situation. Tesla anticipates more layoffs in the next quarter. Outro. Elon Musk's message is crystal clear. He wants us to be ready. And remember that while the Great Recession technically ended in 2009 in the US, its impact lingered for years, affecting countless individuals in America and globally. The lesson here is to brace yourself. Just like a shield, preparedness can guard you against the lasting effects of economic downturns. Share your top advice for the upcoming situation in the comments section. If you found the video informative, remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more updates. Thank you.